Hello, what is poppin' YouTube fam? This is your boy J Money here. I'm bringing you guys an all-time favorite deck profile of mine. You know it, I know it, we all know it. We all know that I love me some World Chalice content, but we're doing World Chalice Orcust. That is probably my favorite variant of all time because it is a cross of two World Legacy lore storylines. So, I went next one with the deck. It performed way better than I expected. It is a 60 card list. I will go over the list and fill you guys in on the things that I ended up piloting and my choices, why they worked, etc., etc. Let's go. Alrighty, folks. Here we are in not the laboratory, but we're doing a deck profile. Getting 60 card lists. We're gonna do this by engines and kind of explain what's going on here. So first off, we got two World Legacy World Chalices. I really did want to make space for a third. I just kind of want to open this card more than anything else, but the deck already has enough normal summons for a 60 card deck, so I think two is fine, but you definitely need multiples, one to summon and one to search, for sure, because you definitely want to search the second one to put it on the board for either things like Clockwork Knight or Disruption on the opponent's turn. And if you resolve this card, you can also get into Orcust combo as well, so yeah, so this accomplishes both. One Lee and one Guard Dragon. Lee is very, very important for being able to send cards from your hand to the graveyard. Not just Orcust cards, but other things such as, World 1, because you might search it sometimes. And you get the free extension off of it. You can also send other things that I'll kind of show you a little bit later. But yes, being able to send things like Carbonetons and stuff to the graveyard is really, really nice. It's really valuable. World Legacy cards, one Succession, and we're back to playing Sorrow. Sorrow is very easy to achieve in this deck, achieving co-links, because Enlil Girsu has interesting arrows, Galatea has interesting arrows, so you have a lot more things in here that point left to right. So establishing the co-link is very, very nice, especially just being able to have more spell trap negates is always a good thing here. And oftentimes you may end up going for this for lib or go for this for ib, and you need something to set off of the other lib. Next up, we are on Orcust cards. We are on 3 Girsus, automatic normal summon, automatic 3 of. 3 Harps, another normal. It's not considered a normal summon for me because I typically want to send it, but if you don't have anything else, this is the third best normal summon in this deck. So yeah, 1 Nightmare, 1 Symbol. We don't want to play multiples. I mean, there's a lot of people that if they're playing against a pure build or more of a streamlined build, they're on multiple symbols, which is actually somewhat decent, but it still doesn't feel good to open. 1 Wand and 1 NT8000. NT8000 is just that extra layer of interaction that you can typically count on, especially if you already have full combo. If you, like, let's say if you Enlil Girsu back a card, right, like Nightmare or something, right, there's realistically only one form of interaction that you're going to be able to utilize, and that's Symbol. So you definitely, if you already have Symbol in rotation, such as like you Ding Girsu'd it back and you put it in the graveyard, you need something else to send off a Nightmare, because Nightmare is typically probably what you're going to add to your hand off of Enlil Girsu, and then on the opposing turn you want to send the Nightmare with like Galatea Eye or something like that, or you just, once you add this back to your hand, you could send it for Lee. That's another thing that you could send. So yes, being able to have another interaction, or I mean, it doesn't even just have to be Symbol Engrave. It could just be Heart to banish Summon Symbol, link it off with IP, and like SP and stuff like that. Then you can send this to Grave for Nightmare as well. So yeah. Orcust spells and traps. We play one Crescendo and one Babel. Pretty standard stuff here. So yeah, Will Chalice cards, Orcust cards. There you go. These three Carbonettins has been MVP. It was MVP the whole day. For some odd reason, this is one of the main cards that you can send off of Lee. Yeah, you can send it off of Galatea I if you're getting interrupted. It also is really good with some of the stuff I got in my side deck to essentially push through interactions. So for those of you who don't know, if this is in the graveyard, you can banish it to summon a vanilla monster that's a dragon as long as it's level 7 or lower. So with those Carbonettins, we are playing a Flammable Guard and a Galaxy Servant. Both of these cards came up equally as much because you are playing a lot of level 4s and a decent amount of level 3s that you're going to get access to. Yeah, so obviously you're using Flammable Guard in tandem with things like Backend, Girsu, Harp, and things such as that. Like, it's very, very easy to do so. And obviously for the other Will Chalice vanillas, we are on one level 4, one level 3, and one level 2. They all get used. They all can go into the level 5 synchro very, very easily with different sets of monsters. So the level 2 is very valuable because we are playing Scrap Recycler as our second best normal summon in the game. It's probably for this deck, I'm pretty sure it's our best normal summon because it gets you to Will Chalice and to Orcust by itself, as well as like giving you full combo, right? Because you can kind of loop this card. And it is also the best under interactions because if you get this interacted with, any sort of extension, you can just turn into a Clockwork Knight, bring this back, and attempt to keep pushing. Versus with Girsu, if that gets interacted with, yeah, you can still make Galatea I, but you're still not, even with extension, you won't really be able to get access to your like Harp and Nightmare and stuff. Whereas with this, you can. So yeah. So to complement the recyclers, we are on Scrap Raptor. Scrap Raptor is essentially what we're going to use to bridge into the Will Chalice line because it is a level 1 tuner, or level 4 tuner, right? And with that, we use Crystron Rosinix to pump out a level 1 token. It's a machine that you can fool yourself, Scrap Recycler, and Mechafan Beast Lion. So how this normally would work, you would go for Recycler, you would send this first, you summon a token, you link off the Recycler itself in a Clockwork Knight, you tribute the token for Recycler, and then you send Rosinix. Rosinix pumps out a level 1 token, you use the Recycler and the Clockwork Knight into a Scrap Wyvern, bring back Pop, summon Scrap Wyvern, pop, or Raptor, and pop the Wyvern, and now you have your level 5 Synchro. And then you can get into your World Legacy Will Chalice, then you can get into your Orcust cards and all that. So that's how that works. It is also another way, Scrap Recycle is also really good because it's also a starter that you can realistically search in this deck as well. And I'll show you in just a little bit. But first, since we are playing Clockwork Knight, we're playing the Clockwork Knight Continuous spell. And so Regulus is typically another Omni that you can add with it. But like I said, if you don't have a starter or any way to Orcust cards, you can use Clockwork Knight to add Scrap Recycler because, hint, it's an Earth machine. So you add it, you can send it for Lee, and you can bring it back with Succession and Lid and stuff like that. Like, yeah, everything ties together. So Regulus, it's a really good Omni to end on top of your entire board. Next, we are on the Horus package. We're on 3 Mcetis, 1 Sark, and 1 Happy. We play these not just because of Zombie Vampire. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Zombie Vampire because of the gamble aspect. You can't really guarantee anything. And if you do, let's say, hit a Scrap Recycler, for example, you can't even make a Clockwork Knight with it because it's no longer a machine monster, it's a zombie. So that is a little bit of a bummer, and I'm actually going to end up cutting this package for the Allure Queen package. But the Sarks and the 3 Mcetis are 3 continuous spells, so it does achieve your ability to add Clockwork Knight to your hand. So you need as many ways to continuous spells as possible, while simultaneously letting the continuous spells actually do something towards you getting the full combo. So Allure Queen still accomplishes that, because Allure Queen by itself is full Orcust and World Chalice combo by itself, but it's also just extra continuous spells for you to send later for Clockwork Knight if you need it. Illusion of Chaos, Magician Souls, these were just free agents. Didn't really need them. Honestly, I will just end up cutting them along with the Horus stuff to make room for Allure Queen. So yeah. Non-engine, 3 Fuas, cool. 3 Perulias, cool. Just need to make space for something, right? 3 Ashes. The thing about Ashes and like other hand traps, you can normal summon them in tandem with, like, let's say your special summon of your World Chalice level 2, for example. You know, I can special summon the World Chalice level 2 and just normal summon Ash and make my Ib Synchro and just full combo, or I can summon Beckon, which is the level 4, and just normal summon Droll and make the Ib Synchro and have full combo that way. So these serve more of a purpose other than just being non-engine hand traps. Especially with the Charmies, you can also normal summon the Charmies, and if you, like, say, sent Carbonet into your graveyard earlier, like, let's say you sent it with, like, a Horus, right? Just without a normal summon, and you could just banish for Flammable Guard, you can normal summon a Charmy and make Ib Synchro. Like, every last one of these hand traps you can make Ib Synchro with in tandem with another card in this deck. Right, you can also Primite Roar for, you know, Flammable Guard. Doesn't really matter. All right, next up, that is it for the non-engines. You just need, like, high impact non-engine. That's really it. And of course, Ash is just for other opposing Mole Charmies. So that's why that's there. 3 Primite Lordly Loads, and not 1, but 2 Primite Roars. I don't know how, but for some reason, I was not playing 3 Roars. Normally, I want to see the maximum amount of special summons of the vanilla as possible. I don't know how the third one didn't make it in here, but it definitely should have, for sure. And I will 100% make those adjustments. I didn't play Drill Beam because Drill Beam is honestly, like, even though it is good, it is a one-use kind of card. If I'm going first or second, right, and if I'm just opening up a hand, I definitely want to have as many playable cards as possible, right? And Drill Beam is only good if I have a vanilla on board, and I'm not guaranteed to see Load or Roar plus Drill Beam or Carbonetin, right? It's just not a guarantee. Now, granted, like, I can get to that stuff later. I can get to vanillas, right? I can summon Lee and I can add a vanilla to hand to just keep it in hand for Drill Beam, right? I can do that, but I guess Drill Beam doesn't really allow me to play the game. I think it's good when you're already kind of like solidifying some plays, in which case the Drill Beam probably wasn't going to be the difference between you winning or losing. You know what I mean? It's interesting. Drill Beam is an interesting card. I like it, but at the same time, it's like I almost don't like it at the same time, even though the card is really good. And the last 3 cards in the main, Clockwork Knight for your combos, called by talents. You know, easy auto includes. Next, for extra deck, we're going to go for the World Chalice cards first. We got our Ib Synchro, of course, our Imduck and our Aurum. I summoned this one time, never really even used the effect. It was just something to go into. So it is definitely a cuttable card, for sure. Imduck, I went into this every time. Every time I summoned this and resolved it. And I summoned this every game except for like once. And it was just Orcust cards that was just really doing the most. Liv, because it's a World Legacy card and you're going to get access to all your cards, and she also just non-target spins when she's linked off. So You know, obvious, like most of the time, this is getting linked off with IP. So, yeah. Galatea I, or I say Galatea or Galatea. So that's how I'm gonna pronounce it. She is amazing. I love her so much. Her being link material, her not locking you into darks if you use any of her effects is probably why she's so good. Right? The fact that you can use her, link her off, banish, summon her again, and still not be locked into darks is woo-wee. I love it, I love it, I love it. Enlil, phenomenal card. This card right here, man. Oh my lord. Being able to banish himself from the grave when he's linked off to send a card, and then also summon him back with like wand later, can be understated. Also, him getting your banished Orcust cards back, your banished Babel back, your banished Crescendo back to your hand, and then reset. Like, who at this point, like, I don't need to reset Drill Beam when I always have access to this card to get Crescendo back to hand. And I don't even need to shuffle card back to deck if I'm not trying to steal. I just need to get it back to hand, reset it. And bada bing, bada boom, you're good. And of course, you got Galatea over here, our second favorite monster of all honesty. And one Dingy Boy. Dingy Boy is still incredible. So, yeah. Ain't too much to say there. Gravity Controller to link off Ib in the extra monster zone. It's actually kind of important, so... Clockwork Knight. Notice we're playing a lot of Link 1s. We're playing 4 Link 1s. These two, Imduk, Galatea I. That's a lot of Link 1s. So, but they're all very important. Clockwork Knight is probably the second best Link 1 in the deck, being able to get you access to Regulus or Scrap Recycler if you don't have access to Orcust cards. So, and it just kind of lets you... The fact that you can not just summon back Recycler to keep pushing, but you could, if you have everything you need, you can summon back World Legacy, World Chalice and just chill. You can do that and just chill on it as an interruption. You can do that. So, yeah. Alright, the last few cards, we got Scrap Wyvern for the combo. We got IP to end on, SP to go into on the opponent's turn, or, you know, on your turn if you're going second, you're trying to push. Firewall Singularity, that is also another card that I would typically go into off of IP Masquerena, right? IP, Enlil Girsu, that's 1 material, and like, let's say the link to Lib, right? That's 6 materials into Singularity. I get to non-target shuffle a card because of Lib. I get to now send a card because of Enlil Girsu. I likely stole a card before then because of Enlil Girsu. You know, I've likely already activated Crescendo, and now Singularity is going to get a double bounce as well. So, and every time something he's pointing to gets into grave, I get to summon back Cyber sponsors. So, yeah, I get to summon back IP later if I want to. I can summon back Aurum. I have wanted to play like OG Firewall just to have like an actual good Cybers to go into, but it's not a Dark Monster, so... And yeah, Zombie Vampire for the last one. I went into it like once. So goes to show how great that card is. And again, it was just gambly. Like, I went for it and I didn't even hit what I needed. So, yeah. Side deck is actually important. So, first off, we just want to draw cards. Meows. It was either Meows or Shared Ride. It was one of those two. Shared Ride is like extremely good though. You can draw into it going second, and Shared Ride will still net you draws, especially if you're playing against Mitsu, and you'll just draw a lot of cards. I choose Chaos Hunter over Lancia for, you know, obvious reasons. Just kind of refer back to the Allure Queen Orcust deck that I played. You kind of want to keep it on the field. You want to not just stop your opponent from doing Malice combo, but you also want to then stop your opponent from, you know, malicing you on your turn, you know, and bistieling and hitting you with bistials and stuff like that. Like, yeah, being able to stop the banishing on your turn is just as valuable as on the opponent's turn. So, next we got 3 back row clears because we definitely need them. Especially the Lightning Storms. you just don't know. You don't know what you're playing against, especially like Rogue, stuff like that. You know, you need the help. Now, for going first, we're actually playing Phantom Knights. We're playing Rusty, Cloak, Boots, along with 2 Fog Blades and a Shade Brigandine, right? This package sided in because I would side out my Mulch armies, right? And side these in. These also helped you play into Lancia pretty well. They helped you play into Lancia. This engine also just lets you get into the Ib Synchro very easily, right? There's a couple reasons why. There's a couple ways, right? One, if you discard Carbonetum with Galatea Eye, right? You can make the Link 2, you know, banish some back to Galatea Eye, link the Galatea Eye and the original Galatea into Rusty, right? You can Foolish, Cloak, set Shade Brigandine, activate Shade Brigandine, banish Carbonetum, Flammable Guard, boom. Ib Synchro right there. Or you, instead of doing that, because it's bad, you know, you can banish Boots, summon Boots, banish Carbonetum for Galaxy Serpent, boom. Ib Synchro, now you can grab a second Fog Blade, and there you go, right? But what you can also do, if you don't have access to Carbonetum, right, you can use your Galatea Eye to add your World Legacy Royal Chalice, because it's a World Legacy card that you can add off of her, climb into Rusty, set Shade Brigandine, flip it over, make an Imduct, boom, now you can normal summon it, and, you know, just go off. So, yeah, being able to end on more interactions when you know you're going first is crazy, right? Because the one match I lost, this was game 3, I got Fuwood, right? I got Fuwood, put 14 cards in their hand. You know, I just did the full commit, and I got ashed, I got nibbed, I got turn 0, I got hit with some turn 0 shenanigans, right? That forced me. I mean, it was actually to my benefit because I got to Inlo Gears to steal their cards at that point, and it wasn't Vanquish, so it was like Super Quads. I did not know that Super Quads had a crazy turn 0 interaction where you can just start summoning stuff out of hand, going into your extra deck immediately. They're quick effects now and stuff like that. It's almost like every deck can play on turn 0 now. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I got hit with all that, and they still ended up 14 cards in hand, and I was like, I got beat still, but the guy had like maybe 4 cards in his hand at the end of it all, and I still ended up making not only a couple misplays, but I also sequenced my combo wrong to where I ended up having to link off my Regulus. You know, I linked off my Regulus, so there I missed out on an interaction there. I used a Fog Blade in a place where I shouldn't have. Had I thought about it for 2 seconds, I could have saved an extra interaction there. I forgot that Primate Row was in the grave, so I could have interacted with his normal summon as well, right? There are so many things that I could have done differently and done better where, had I played him right, I probably would have still beat him, despite the fact that I ended up playing into all that and ended up getting hit with all those turn 0 interactions. So this engine definitely proved itself. But the reason why I didn't main deck it is because aside from Shade Brigandine, none of these do anything on their own. Right? These require you to already be playing the game, essentially. And so I'd rather side them in place of cards I know isn't going to do anything when I go first, like Mulch armies. So, yeah. Anyway, that is the deck profile, guys. Yeah. Alright, guys. That was the deck profile. You like it? You love it? You hate it? You felt indifferent about it? Let me know down in the comments. Once again, it will switch to a more... it's going to focus some more on Allure Queen, because Allure Queen is... in my opinion, just a little bit better. It does a lot more and it's a lot more of a guarantee and a lot less Gamba-y, as well as, you know, just more explosive, more bodies, etc., etc. So, anyway, guys, thoughts down in the comments. Let's get that engagement up. Be sure to like the video, hit the subscribe button. especially like and comment, just so we can get back on that algorithm, because I am uploading a little bit more. I also, for those of you who don't know, because I've been streaming a lot more Master Duel, have a Twitch account as well. Be sure to follow that as well. And yeah, we will see you guys in the next one. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. This is J Money, and I am signing out.